Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors GNN review video. So I'm still not fully recovered from my surgery and I can't really talk much, but I really wanted to make this review video because Matt had just dropped some very exciting news about the next collaboration, which is going to be with Sword Art Online. And personally, I'm very excited because I love the anime and this is a very exciting collaboration for me, which is why I wanted to force myself to make this video. But yeah, this GNN has a lot of information, so without further ado, let's get started. So, starting from Monday, August 7th, we are getting this new crossover, and Madhead is trying something new with this crossover, and that is going to be including 14 Diamond Seal cards in the drawing machine, and this is going to be the most amount of cards in a single Diamond Seal, as well as the most jackpot cards in a single Diamond Seal. You might remember Attack on Titan had 4 jackpot cards. This time we have 5 jackpot cards, which is going to be the highest to this date. And yeah, one of the things, this is really cool because we have more cards to pull for and more of the anime characters, but it is also kind of unfortunate because it does mean that it is going to be very diamond intensive to get all the characters in this game, and if you are saving for cards and don't have that many diamonds, it could be kind of unfortunate for you. And this is because not only there are more cards to pull for and more jackpot cards that have lower drop rates, but there's also two 1% jackpot cards, namely Asuna and Kirito. And unlike Attack on Titan, where you could guarantee Eren at 35 and Levi at 40, Asuna and Kirito are both guaranteed at 35, but you can only choose one to guarantee for that 35 pull. Which means that if you get really unlucky, you can guarantee Kirito at 35 and then you have to pull another 35 in order to guarantee Asuna. This means that you are going to have to spend 350 diamonds in order to get both 1% jackpot cards. And not only that, Madhead did announce that both Kirito and Asuna are going to have a virtual rebirth starting from the second week, which means that if you want to have both the virtual rebirth and the base form, you are going to have to get 2 copies of each, and that is going to be quite insane in terms of diamond consumption. So yeah, just keep that in mind about this collaboration and make sure about your own financial well-being before you decide to fully commit all your diamonds to this diamond seal. But yeah, so one of the things about collaborations is that they have collaboration specific archetypes and exclusive team skills. And I guess one of the weird things is that this seal is going to have 3 archetypes: SAO, ALO, and GGO, which is Gun Gale Online, Alpha League Online, and Sword Art Online. SAO members are Asuna, Yui, and Kirito, and ALO are going to be Lifa, Shinon, and Yuki. And this is a bit unfortunate in my opinion. I mean, it's cool that they are separated into their respective games, but this does mean that it is going to be more restrictive in terms of team skills. I would rather that all the characters have one single archetype, like an online or virtual reality type of tag, rather than 3 separate tags, because as you will see later, some of the teams only benefit SAO, some of the teams only benefit ALO, and I guess it makes sense, but for a single diamond seal, having them split in the middle between 2 different archetypes is going to make it a little bit more complicated. But yeah, specific team skill is going to be the battle menu skill. SAO members get 1 round of hyperstate, and ALO members get a -1 cooldown reduction, which is pretty nice. Consumes 100% of your craft, and the good thing is that it does not consume 1 charge, which means that you could potentially spam it as long as you can charge your craft to 100%. And here is the thing that I mentioned. I personally would prefer that everyone gets the hyperstate or everyone gets a cooldown reduction, rather than having 2 separate skills for different archetypes, you know? But yeah, so now let's move on to the cards, which is going to be the main thing about this GNN. Kirito, He is a dark human, and it is going to be a very good leader skill. Has 110 times multiplier, as well as extra HP and recovery, and a combo count increase of 8. So overall, it's a very simple leader skill with attack, recovery, and combo count increase. And if you've played recent stages, you'll know that combo count increase is very useful, especially for like Napoleon and like Angelina. Those combo count increases definitely make the stages easier. So this is very nice to have in his leader skill. In terms of team skill, he has a lot of staples like extend the runestone movement time. He has nullify sticky. He has runestone possession effect, and he also has recovery trail, which is going to be very useful for recovery. And he also ignores laser trap. And if you do 8 combos or more, which is very easy because his leader skill already gives you a free 8 combo, you get more attack and fixed combo and initial shield ignore, which is also very useful. And also remove electrified, weather, and frozen runes. So a lot of utility packed into his passive skills, which is going to be very nice. If he is the leader, he also gets a unique team skill, a craft skill, instead of the regular SAO archetype skill. And this is more focused for the SAO team, because this is Kirito gets released, his active skill gets released, and SAO members get both the hyper state. There's no ALO team skill here, so there's no cooldown reduction, but there is cooldown reduction for these specific 3 characters and extra runestone movement time. So it's just a modified version of the SAO craft skill. More importantly, I think in his team skill is going to be this passive here, where if there is Kirito in the team equipped with his specific Dragonware, you will get a different active skill. And we'll come to this, we'll come back to this later when we take a look at his active skill, but just know that you only need to equip his Dragonware in order to get this active skill. He also has, just like Rengoku and Levi, there is a single team composition here. If there's only Kirito in the team, actually, if there's only Kirito or Spree and Kirito in the team, so it doesn't necessarily have to be only leader and ally. It could be a mono Kirito team. You get a different things here like extra attack mode and diving and skill cooldown, you know, all cool things. But honestly, I don't think you should run mono Kirito because it's expensive. But yeah, and then battle menu. So overall, his team skill and leader skill are really powerful. He has a lot of utility inbuilt into his team skill and a lot of damage multiplier in both his leader skill and team skill. So as a leader, I think he's going to be very fun to play. Now, his active skill, he has 2 of them. Now, one of them is CD4, which is actually kind of insane. It also gives cooldown reduction to SAO members. Gives you it gives you first, the first and fifth rows are enchanted heart runes, and the first and sixth columns are enchanted dark runes. So it does form like the square, horizontal square formation of his skill. And you also get extra combo count for extra attacks, and damage will be dealt regardless of duo, trio, quartet, and quintilemental shield, which is also very nice. However, this skill pales in comparison to his enhanced skill, which is when you equip his Dragonware. So now let's take a look at what we get. Removes Tornado, turn all runestones into a fixed board, which is very nice. Do not, the damage taken will not lead to your defeat. Counter-attack damage is decreased by 100%. The first batch is guaranteed fixed numbers and fixed positions of water and dark runes, and the second batch is enchanted runes of all types of fixed numbers and fixed positions. Also, the character damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle, anti-runestone shield, and defense. You also launch 14 extra attacks, with the 5 first attacks being 5 attributes, and 9 are just random. The character launches 1 extra dark attack as much as 5 times its attack, and Black Swordsman Kirito in dual volume mode also launches 1 extra water attack. And this typically when there is a skill replacing team skill, it replaces the first team skill with the same cooldown. So this super powerful active skill is going to be CD4, and that is absolutely insane. So meaning you should always run his Dragonware, because even though you ignore duo, trio, quartet elemental, and quintet elemental shield and launches 4 extra attacks, honestly the other skill is so much better, because you get fixed board, you get fixed sky drop, and you get fixed 5 attribute enchanted sky drop, which basically helps you ignore the duo, trio, quartet, and quintet elemental shield, because it's just that good. You also get 14 extra attacks instead of 4, and well, combo count also doesn't matter, because the guaranteed sky drop is going to give you more combos as well. So honestly, this skill kind of pales in comparison, and you should always be running this one no matter what, meaning get the Dragonware and give it to Kirito. For his second active skill, CD7, this one's a little bit longer, but honestly it's very interesting. Fully recover HP and refresh the runes on the board from any debuffs. If there's 3 members and only Sword Art Online members in the team, tap a member's column to swap that member's position with the leader. And disabled members cannot be swapped, and this effect stays in play until the skill is reactivated. And honestly, this is really exciting, because it is part of the anime, the switch mechanic where you can attack enemies with a different character, yada yada yada. But in terms of Tower of Saviors, this is a very unique mechanic that is the first of its kind in the game. And the reason it's interesting is because different leaders have different team skills, and up to this point, the leader you enter with is the leader you have for their entire battle. But with this skill, you are going to be able to switch to any Sword Art Online character member in the team to make that your leader and benefit from that team skill. But here's the catch. This is not as bad a mono Sao member team, because 5 of the non-jackpot cards are all Sword Art Online members. So there are options for you to build a Sword Art Online member team. However, the only card that has a decent leader skill and decent team skill is going to be Asuna. No questions asked. So the only reason you would activate this skill is to switch to Asuna and benefit from her team skill and leader skill, which we will take a look at later. But other than that, there's not really that much of an option to do so. I'm hoping that his VR form has this also switch mechanic, but with more flexibility than just Sao members. But since the only card that you can switch to is Asuna, and because it cannot be the ally, you actually have to have Asuna and Kirito in the team, which does require you to pull both of them and spend your diamonds on it. So it is a very interesting skill, unique mechanic that we have never seen before, but in practical applications it might not be that useful right now, and I would say don't bother with it yet until we find like more strategies and other things to do with it. But yeah, bonding skills, the only one to take note is this one, but it does require you to have Asuna. But Kirito himself doesn't ignore burning, but with his bonding skill he is going to be able to ignore burning. But yeah, pretty good card. But yeah, let's keep on moving. We have a lot of ground to cover. We have the Lightning Flash Asuna. Oh, one last thing. This switch mechanic does not require Kirito to be in the leader position. So once you reach the 7 turns, you can switch back. Activate Kirito's skill to switch back from Asuna to Kirito. But it does require you to wait 7 rounds. And you cannot decrease your cooldown with this one. You could reduce your cooldown with the craft skill and make this faster, but you know, options. Now, Asuna. Fire Human also has a pretty good leader skill. This is going to be a 101 times multiplier, which is pretty good as well. You also explode to regenerate human runes, which is very useful, and have a minus skill cooldown after entering the stage, and this is inbuilt into her kit, which is going to be pretty useful. Now for her team skill, we also have plenty of staples such as Brimstone Momentine, ignore burning, runestone possession effect, enhance runestone possession effect. You also ignore laser trap, extra damage. If you dissolve 5 or heart runes, you get extra damage. Ignore equal, and ignore duo, trio, quartet, quintet elemental shield. You also, all non-fire style members become fire, which is actually going to be very interesting when you apply the switch mechanic, because you might turn from a rainbow team to a mono fire team, and that could be potentially useful. But yeah, by dissolving all present fire, you get -1 cooldown for Asuna. So Asuna lives up to her name of a fast attacker. You are reducing your cooldown from the get-go, and you also get your cooldown reset or refreshed or reduced every round if you dissolve all present fire runes. If you use Asuna's character rune, you get a single dissolve or groups of 2 for 5 runes, which is very easy to achieve this all fire rune condition, so definitely good for it. If you activate the skill of Asuna, you will have a tumbler and will not be defeated, and damage will be dealt regardless of defense. So all in all, very good, a very good team skill. Honestly, I expected more because she is a 1% jackpot card. I also expected her to have a specific team skill for Dragon Warrior and things like that, which I guess we do have it here. But yeah, she does look like a second jackpot card, like a smaller jackpot card actually, not really a 1% jackpot card. So that is slightly disappointing, but she is still going to be very powerful and as a leader. And with the switch mechanic, you can benefit from both Kirito and Asuna as leaders, so definitely a good thing to have in your team. In terms of her active skill CD6, this means that you will have her active skill ready from the get-go. Tap 2 runes to turn those into fire runes. CD of all enemies will be delayed for 1 round, which is very useful. Combo count increases by 10, runes of movement time increases by 10, character launches 5 extra attacks, and ignores initial combo shield and runestone combo nullifying. And this is going to be very useful, especially if you activate this what's it called, single dissolve with her team skill. So all in all, a very good active skill, also a very good leader skill, and really powerful. I do think she is going to be very fun to play as well. That being said, her runestone possession effect is only going to be fire and heart, and fire runes increase by 300, but this doesn't really matter because every member in the team will become fire attribute, so that is going to be pretty good for her. Something that I didn't touch upon is that these 2 team buildings are going to be very restrictive, because I did say you get 110, 101 multipliers with Kirito or Asuna, but this only applies if you're running Sword Art Online or ALO members. Same thing for Kirito, which means that it is going to be very unflexible and very restricted to this collaboration. So keep that in mind as we keep going through these teams. Now moving on to the non 1% jackpot cards, so like the second jackpot cards. We have the second Yuki, which is going to be a dark elf. She does have lower multipliers, but it's also not that bad. This is a 3570 times multiplier with also a minus 40% damage reduction. But yeah, the thing that differentiates her from Kirito and Asuna is that she does allow you to get elf support from anything in the game, so it doesn't restrict you to only ALO or SAO members. So this might be a good thing for mono elf teams as well. Moving on to her team skill, we have again staples like stab boosts, and also Berserk Healer. This is not Berserk Healer, this is Lightning Flash. Oh yeah, Berserk Healer is later, I think. So this is probably going to be Asuna's virtual rebirth form. But yeah, Second, Yuki and Asuna enter a hyperstate. Oh, this is just a passive skill. So if there is Asuna and Yuki in the team, you get these skills. Hyperstate. If Asuna acquires a second active skill, basically. Yuki and Asuna enter hyperstate for 1 round, explode fire and light runes, and electrified and water runes to generate water protective runes. 1 round of elf runes combo and EX combo will be 11, which is good. Character launches 11 extra attacks, and character damage will be regardless fixed, combo seal, and runestone combo nullifying, and Yuki gets a -1 cooldown. So all in all, this is a very nice boost if you have both Asuna and Yuki in the team. Okay, so if the leader is Yuki, which is what we're interested in, we have staples like 4 seconds extra movement time, burning nullified, black hole is nullified, runestone possession effect, and after dissolving runes, you get guaranteed sky drop of enchanted runes, which helps you with the triggering the leader skill. And also the second batch will be dropped to be enchanted heart runes. So we are getting a lot of Gojo with a first batch or Atum first batch and second batch drop. So it's pretty nice. By dissolving water or dark runes, which is very easy to hit with her team skill. Extra team attack, ignore puzzle shield, ignore initial shield, ignore defense. All very good skills as well. When 11 combos are made, Yuki skill -1 and dodge the first attack of an enemy in the round. So and then also 2.5 attack, and when 11 combos exactly are made, skill attack times 2.5 and skill -1. And you might be thinking this could be random, but remember that Asuna's skill sets your combo count to 11. So no matter if you go over or go under, it will always be 11. So this is pretty useful here. But honestly, this dodge is honestly better. So don't really count on this one. Just make sure you get more than 11 combos, which is honestly not going to be that hard because you get a 6 extra combos just for her first sky drop, and you get another combo from her sky drop. So very easy to hit. And then battle menu. So honestly, as a leader, I think I was expecting Yuki to be really weak because she is not a 1% jackpot card. And whenever Madhead has more than 3 jackpot cards, typically the other jackpot cards are not that great. But in this case, she's actually not that bad, honestly. I think she's going to be really fun to play, and she has more flexibility than Kirito and Asuna, which means that oh wait, no. After dissolving runes in the column build leader and ally, never mind. Okay, so this is only for leader and ally. You still get extra combos, not as many as I thought, but you can still run any elf members in the team. So this is also going to be really good because Matt had just recently released a bunch of new elf cards and elf support. So for example, you can have Angelina or any of the power release Elfish Perennial series in her team. In terms of our active skill, we have a CD6 skill. Yuki and Asuna enter a hyperstate for 2 rounds, explode electrified and weathered. And this is Mother Rosario Yuki. This is basically the same skill as Asuna's team skill, but just for Yuki. Protected Dark Runes, Enchanted Elf Runes, combo count is 11, so it also helps your team skill, and you have the same thing. So basically, a very good skill that also benefits your team skill. In terms of member potential though, I don't think she's going to be that great for elf teams because, I mean, combo count being 11 is very nice, but typically if you're running like Angelina or Daji, you want to get as many combos to get as much damage, so limiting yourself to 11 might not be that great. However, you do ignore a lot of things with your active skill like fixed combo shield, combo seal, and combo nullifying, which is going to be very nice. So definitely a good thing to have. but mostly if you're going to play a Yuki Asuna team. Other than that, I think she is not that great, and you could potentially afford not to get her if you're not planning on running a Berserk Healer and Yuki team. But I think her playstyle is going to be pretty fun. Next we have Lifa, the Sylph Swordman Lifa, which is an Earth Elf. She has a higher multiplier than Yuki, having a, what is this, 32, 64, 100, 32, 64, 128. Oh, 64 base and Kirito and Lifa times 2, you know, because they're brothers. But Spriggan Kirito. So Spriggan Kirito is probably going to be the virtual rebirth and the elf version of him. So that's nice. Attack will be dealt regardless of defense. Honestly, a very basic leader skill with just attack. And the good thing is that you are also able to run Earth members in the team alongside ALO, which Earth has pretty good support members like Bull King, Iron Fan Princess, and things like that, you know? In terms of her leader skill, if the leader is Lifa, same thing staples, extra movement time, roost and possession effect, ignore sticky, step damage will be ignored, and tumbler effect as well, which is typical of elves. 10 rune enchanted trail, as well as after dissolving runes, dropping runes can be dissolved by aligning 2 or more of them, and the effect stays in play until 8 runes of one type are dissolved in the second batch and onward. And honestly, this is a very good team skill. This is really good team skill. It's basically like a Ingrid or a Groth or a Yord skill, but inbuilt into her passive skill, which means it's going to be very nice. I mean, it is kind of nerfed because it is only limited to 8 runestones of one type in the second batch and onward, but that's still pretty useful. That's still going to give you a good like 4 extra combos or 5 extra combos, and that is going to be very nice. Based on the attributes and number of members in the team, Kirito and Lifa will each launch a number of extra attacks of the corresponding attribute as much as 50% of its own attack. So basically, this is going to be a Napoleon leader skill type of thing with Kirito and Lifa, which means that you are going to be able to break 5 attribute shields by themselves if you run a rainbow team. So honestly, she is also very powerful in terms of a jackpot card, and not at all what I was expecting of Lifa. Because Lifa was not that powerful in the game, I mean in the anime. So I'm surprised at how powerful her leader skill and team skill look like in this game right here. In terms of active skill CD7, it is a controlling skill similar to the Daji first active skill. You also recover HP and increase your combo count by 100 for each combo made. Damage received from scorching areas minus 100%, and if the leader is ALO, you get 2 rounds for effects 2 to 5, 2 to 4. And honestly, this is a very good active skill. A little bit slow at CD7, but it's basically like an Earth Dodgy type of buff for your team, made into an active skill. So you get extra attack bonus for your combo count, which is very nice. You could put this in a Angelina team and also benefit a lot from it. And also ignore scorching areas 100% of it. So this is going to be very powerful because there's not that many cards that can ignore scorching areas. So overall, I think she is going to be a very good member for both Sword Art Online collaboration teams and for elf teams in the future as well. So definitely a good card to have. Next we have the Lightbow Archer Shinon, which is going to be an light elf, and this is going to be the last jackpot card of the series. She does have pretty good multipliers as well. This is 66 and a Shinon and Spriggan Kirito times 2. This is like a 64 base, which is the same as Lifa, with a times 2 for Shinon and Kirito. But however, there is also sniper damage, which makes sense. It is similar to Atom and the Egyptian gods, where active skill damage will be increased by 2.5 times additionally, which it's nice. But keep in mind that this also applies to this damage here, because this damage dealt to enemies times 8 is not like attack times 8. This is the damage dealt, which means that active skill damage will also benefit from this times 8, which is also going to be really powerful in my opinion. And Shinon skill -3 after entering the stage. I think her active skill is 3, so that means it's readily available. And this sniper skill makes sense because Shinon is a sniper, and in her first appearance she was a very good sniper, so it does make sense with the anime and with the game. So I'm very excited about this. In terms of leader skill, team skill, we also have the staples: runestone movement time, runestone possession, ignore burning, also ignore laser trap, and also tumbler, which is because they're elves, and also enchanted life elf trail for 6 runes, which is pretty good. By dissolving one group of 6 or more runestones, which right here you have the way to do it, Shinon launches 1 extra attack to the max of 6 extra attacks and increases your combo by 6, which is very useful, very nice for each ALO member in the team. So you are encouraged to run a mono ALO team, but like I said before, she benefits also from light members, so you don't necessarily have to run a mono ALO team. By dissolving character rune or elf runes, team attack times 7, which is a very high bonus, which very nice. And Kirito and Shinon ignore fixed combo, trio, and quintet elemental shield baseline with no conditions, so very nice as well. Okay, I lied. Shinon is not CD3, she is actually CD6. But we have a very good active skill. So if you run dual Shinon, dual leader and ally Shinon, you are going to be getting -6 cooldown and be able to activate your skill straight up. And she is going to be a CD6 sniper, light damage of 20 million, which is not that much, but if the leader is ALO, you deal 200 million, and this 200 million gets multiplied by 2.5 times 8, that is going to be 20, so you're going to have 4 billion damage of sniper damage, which is actually significant, pretty nice if you're running Shinon as an ally. So this is pretty good, but the most important thing in my opinion is that death damage is nullified, which is a very nice piece of utility that you can have in your teams, because not that many cards can nullify death damage. Recovery is lower to 0, which is also very nice. In the past this was a downgrade, but nowadays it does counter the enemy skill of recovery inversion, so that is very good. And you also give that recovery times 3 to the attack basic value of Kirito and Shinon, which is a very good damage boost. If you've been playing Cassandra or cards like that, you know how much of a damage boost that is. And yeah, damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield, so that is going to be very good as well. So overall, a very good skill. Yeah, a very good skill and definitely pretty useful for a Shinon team. Outside of Shinon teams, I think the only use you will get is the death damage ignore, because the sniper becomes less useful, and the attack basic value thing only works for Kirito and Shinon, so you know, could be potentially useful to get a self-attack increase, but honestly you might as well run other elves rather than Shinon. But for a Shinon team and an ALO team, I think she is going to be a very powerful card, so definitely worth getting as well. So now moving on to the non-jackpot cards, I think Yui is going to be very good for Kirito teams, for SAO teams, because it is a 2.2 times attack boost that stays in play unconditionally. And for Kirito and Asuna teams, you get an additional 1.5, which is going to be absolutely amazing in terms of buffs. So definitely a good card to have. You can also deactivate this skill whenever, and that gives a lot of flexibility, which makes this a very good card. In terms of outside of Sao teams, it does give a 2-point attack increase to Machina teams, and that is actually not a bad buff, especially for one that you can deactivate at any time. So even outside of the collaboration, as a Machina card for Machina teams, she is going to be very powerful, and I'm definitely going to run her in a Tomb team or a Lilith team because she seems like a good buffer, like a damage booster. But yeah, Sachi, this one's interesting. I'm surprised they added her to the game because she only appeared for a grand total like 15 minutes at most in the entire anime. Probably because yeah, she collapsing encounter indeed, but very fittingly her skill is like pyramid, like the Atom's pyramid, where after 6 rounds she becomes disabled and she cannot launch attacks or activate her active skill. So it is a double-edged sword here, but her skill is actually not that bad. During those 6 rounds, the character's attack and recovery increases by 2 times, so similar to Pyramid. But most importantly, I think, is going to be the fact that if the leader is a Sao member, damage received will be lowered to 1224. And this is basically a defensive skill for 6 rounds. So basically for 6 rounds you will not die. Because no matter how high the enemy's attack is, your damage will be lowered to only 1224. So yeah, for every extra Sao member in the team, the skill stays in play for 6 rounds. So this card is only good in a mono Sword Art Online team, because otherwise your tumbler or damage reduction effect will not last for the 6 rounds. And honestly, her self attack increase is kind of sad. Normally it would be good, but I mean, it's a nice bonus and all, but not that useful. I think the main use for her is going to be getting 6 rounds of damage reduction, which is going to be super powerful. But other than that, the fact that she cannot she will be disabled after 6 rounds is kind of unfortunate. And I don't know why they had to do her dirty like that, but you know, also this image is the moment where she dies. So it's kind of sad. Anyways, moving on to Silica. Fully recover HP, change state from fatigue into hyper, and also if the leader is a dragon or Sao member, enter a hyper state for 2 or more rounds. So in her skill is situational, but it could be potentially useful. For example, if you reach an enemy that gives you fatigue for 5 rounds, you can immediately turn that around and kill the enemy by switching your fatigue into hyper. So that's very useful. But other than that, Silica is not going to have much use at all. You might think she is going to be good for dragon teams, but mono dragon teams or dragon teams typically like to run mono dragon. So Silica being a human card will break those synergies. So even though she boosts dragon cards, her use in dragon teams might be a little bit limited because you don't really get that much benefit other than the fatigue into hyper. So not that great of a card here. Next we have Lisbeth, which is going to be CD5. Actually one of the more useful cards here too, because she does clear all additional effects in play, including fatigue. So basically you could run her instead of Silica. Clears fatigue and also give you a fixed board to spin, and also for CD5, which is pretty fast. So this is a really good thing. It won't be that good with cards that give you permanent buffs because she will clear them, but it will be good against enemies that give you like fatigue or step damage or permanent debuffs. So definitely good things to have. Next we have Klein, which is also a fire human, hyperstate, time tunnel, and extra combo count. Honestly, this card is going to be pretty good if you don't get Lifa, because it gives you time tunnel, extra combos, and also helps you ignore scorching areas. And this is very good for a mono Sword Art Online team because Lifa is ALO, so it doesn't help you with the mono SAO teams. But Klein is SAO, which means that he is going to be the only SAO character to ignore scorching areas, which can come in useful if you encounter those type of skills. We also have Egil, which is going to be a Earth human, and honestly he's a nice card. CD6 is kind of standard, but for his skill it's kind of slow. It is like a neighbor skill. You generate attacking runes for your neighbors and also give your neighbors a 2.5 attack increase. But if it's a Sao member, it is a ×4 attack increase. So this is going to be good if you put him next to Kirito or if you put him next to your ally, things like that. But in terms of utility, there's not that much here. And depending on the difficulty on the stage, you might want to run more utility rather than more damage, because Kirito and Asuna already have plenty of damage right now in the current meta. So pretty nice, but also not that great. Now moving on, we have 3 of the ALO Diamond Seal cards. We have Shiune, which is the Undyne. We have a CD6 skill, generates 12 attacking runes, explode frozen runes. If the leader is ALO, you explode all runes to generate a fixed board, and upon skill activation, fully recover HP, and you get a 2x team attack. So honestly, this is a good skill, and because it has multiple functions in one single skill, you get a attack boost, you get a fixed board, you also counter frozen runes, and you also recover HP. So they're all very good skills, very consolidated into one card, and that is going to be very good. We have Sakuya, which is a Sylph leader. Have 2 columns to explode, CD5. If the leader is ALO, remove Tornado, and ALO members launch 1 extra water attack, and damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield. Pretty nice, but also only focused for ALO. So outside of any ALO teams, this card is not going to be great. But for an ALO team, she might actually see some decent play. And then the Kite Seath, Alicia, it's a Chronos Gate type of active skill. Select and swipe to remove 2 roads to generate enchanted light elf rooms, remove laser, and ALO members launch 1 extra fire attack, and damage will be dealt regardless of Quintet Elemental Shield. Again, very useful for ALO teams, but especially because she's CD5 and that's pretty quick. But other than that, she is not going to be great in terms of outside teams or teams outside the collaboration. So yeah, that's it for the non-jackpot cards. So honestly, if you needed a rating, I'd say get Yui, get Lisbeth, get Klein, and then whatever you get afterwards. Maybe Shiune is actually pretty good. So Klein, Shiune, Lisbeth, and Yui are going to be pretty useful. I think next is Sachi with her 6 rounds of damage reduction, but kind of useless that she kind of dies afterwards. And then the other cards are honestly kind of mid, not that great. So yeah, skill level up, that's normal. We do get the similar to the Sailor Moon collaboration, if you collect all Diamond Seal characters, you get a dual max Kirito and Asuna and Yui, which has a pretty decent leader skill with a 20 times the team attack bonus. This is a 100 times for Sao members. And honestly, I mean, it's not that great in terms of leaders, it's just pure raw multipliers with ignoring fixed combo and equal combo. Oh wow, okay, never mind. So it's basically a one combo playstyle. At the end of the round, all runestones will be turned into the type used to start runestone movement, and you get a 10 times combo count increase, which helps with the fact that you're only dissolving one combo. And since you're dissolving 30 or more runestones, you get a times 5 team attack and ignore fixed and equal combo shield. So pretty crazy. I mean, it's not great in terms of leaders, but it does sound fun, and it seems like it will be useful to speedrun certain stages that don't have that many enemy skills. So honestly, pretty good here. And yeah. Active skill, ooh, dual active skills. Charge the craft apparatus at CD5. Explode all runestones to generate these kind of things, and if the leader is a sound member, remove all runestones instead. Restore all runes to normal state CD6. Modify fire, light, and dark to become protector runes. Recovery will be lowered to 0, and all runestones possess 200% effect of fire, light, and dark. So honestly, her active skills are actually kind of insane. This is actually really powerful, especially for a Sao team. Picture this. You use your craft skill, and you get here Kirito. Here. Craft skill here. Skill -1 right here. And if you charge your skill again, you get skill -2. So you are going to have a pretty quick uptime on your first active skill since it's CD4. So definitely a good thing to be able to charge your craft right there. And not only that, you also remove all runes to generate enchanted runes of a fixed board and fixed positions, which is very nice. But you can also restore all runestones to normal state, which is also very powerful. So in terms of a card, this one seems to be pretty useful. Just keep in mind that you need to obtain all Diamond Seal characters. Starting card. All Diamond Seal characters, which is, again, like I said before, very diamond intensive. Yeah, we also have item collecting missions with exclusive Dragon Wares. Honestly, always equip the special Dragonware. Yeah, Lambent Light, equip it to Asuna always. Ground Gorge, I mean, same thing. You get character active skill right here, -1 as a passive skill for Agil. So that is very useful. You can get your skill up in 3 rounds if you satisfy the condition. Same thing here, Elucidator and Dark Repulsor. Honestly, these skills are kind of bad in terms of Dragonware skills, but the fact that it gives you the enhanced active skill, it's worth giving it to Kirito. Same thing, always get it. Yada yada yada, Silica, yeah, same thing. Soringen Hama for Lisbeth. Yeah, honestly, these are just good Dragonwares to have. Teleport crystals, also pretty good. Oh, -1 skill cooldown, so definitely good. So yeah, basically always get collaboration Dragonwares for your characters. That's the main takeaway. New challenge stages with Rosaria and Bahamut or Behemoth. Okay, so Rosaria is a dark human. She's the player killer. Deal damage of 60 to all enemies regardless of defense in this order. Okay. Oh, okay. Fire, water, fire, earth, light, dark, non-attribute. And that seems weird. I mean, that's death by 1,000 cuts, I guess. The character's attack becomes 0. Team will not be poisoned and dodge the attack of each dark enemy. So, honestly, this skill doesn't seem that good. I think these are attacks. No, this is like a sniper of different attributes, which is not that useful. I mean, if it's not sniper and if it's extra attacks, it's nice, but there's no way it just says that wording is kind of awkward. Anyways, the poison ignore is kind of nice, and the dodge is very nice too, except for the fact that it's limited to dark enemies only. And I don't know if you noticed, none of the Sword Art Online characters have attribute change active skills, so it is going to be very situational and honestly not that useful. So I can think of better cards to replace her. That being said, if you only need Sword Art Online members, she might be a good thing to fill up space. And the ultimate stage, the first ultimate stage of the collaboration, is going to be the Blue-Eyed Demon. Basically the first demon that actually put up a battle in the anime. And yeah, explode all runes to generate beast runes of the corresponding members attribute in the column below beast members. Generate water runes in the column below other members. Freeze all enemies and then activate them for 1 round, and turn their attributes into dark. The character enters and stays at hyperstate for 1 round, and water and beast members can overpower earth and dark enemies. CD6, honestly, this is a very good card for a beast team, and it has a very unique combination where you can freeze enemies, inactivate them, and turn them into dark. This is a very interesting combination because normally when you freeze enemies, you turn them into water. So it is interesting that you are turning them into dark. So it's an interesting combination. Definitely a good card for beast teams, and not really necessary for like Sao teams. But this is a very good card. So definitely worth getting a copy at Dual Max. And that's it for all the GNN news. So just to recap, we have a new collaboration with Sword Art Online, 5 jackpot cards, 2 1% jackpot cards, Kirito and Asuna, which honestly they're very powerful, but they're very restrictive. So I don't know how I really feel about them at this time without testing them, but honestly they're very good. In my opinion, I would recommend you get Kirito. Guarantee Kirito first and then get Asuna if you really want to, but I think getting Kirito will give you more flexibility and more team building potential down the line even after the collaboration ends. So honestly, I would guarantee Kirito first and then get Asuna second. And then we have 3 other jackpot cards which are actually surprisingly pretty good. I thought that it would be similar to Attack on Titan when like Armin and Mikasa were kind of not that great as leaders, but honestly all 3 of them seem pretty useful, and they're actually more flexible than the 1% jackpot cards since they allow members of their own attributes. Yuki allows mono elf or boosts elf, Lifa boosts earth members, and Shinon boosts light members, so you have access to more cards when you're team building. In terms of the non-jackpot cards, they're just okay. I mean, Yui is actually pretty good, so definitely get her. Shachi is just okay. Silica, it's borderline not useful. Lisbeth is going to be good for her board refresh or for her effect clearing. Klein is good for his scorching area and times tunnel. Agil is good for his neighboring attack boost, so it's pretty good, especially with his Dragon War where he gets -1 cooldown. Shiune is going to be pretty good for a water elf card. Sakuya and Alicia are useless outside of ALO teams, so you know, not that great. So yeah, you get a special card if you collect all of them, but remember it's a lot of diamonds to pull for this one. So yeah, I don't know. And then Dragon Wares, you should always get the Dragon Wares. And then Rosaria, it's not that great. It's a little bit below average. You do ignore poison, which is unique out of the Sword Art Online cards, but not that great. And then the Blue-Eyed Demon, which is honestly a really good card for Beast Team, so definitely worth getting this card at Dual Max. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this GNN news. Everything hurts, so I'm just gonna take it easy for the rest of the day now, but I just really wanted to get this review out for you all because it's been a while since I've done one. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!